Hi there, I'm back with Sonia Says, and we're covering module number 2 of Living Our Best Life and what is the requirements. Okay, so let's get right into it. Happiness versus fulfillment and steering clear of false purpose. I found the articles to be very, very informative and very helpful. So I'm hoping you do the same. So listen carefully, okay? All right. It says happiness is a code of all that all humans have. It's deemed essential and everyone seems to believe it. It's gained a religion-like reverence that everyone follows. And I'm sure you've heard all the people say, I want to be happy. Are you happy? Right? Happiness is the thing, right? Okay. It says though, but happiness is something that is relatively subjective. It can be big, small, long term, or short term. And since it's more of a general term, it says everyone can relate to it. Some common things that make everyone happy are family, career, a good job, and money. And that seems to be what everyone is looking for as far as happiness. Fulfillment, on the other hand, it says, is something more personal. It's yours. And as such, fulfillment is for everyone is different because everyone has different meanings, different goals that they're after, right? It says you can experience fulfillment when you pursue something that you're passionate about. And it says if you compare the two, happiness and fulfillment, it says you'll notice that fulfillment has a much deeper and longer lasting effect than happiness. Fulfillment is what you need to strive for. Why? Well, let's find out. It says, the foremost reason why you should opt for fulfillment is that it's something unique to you. It's something that sets you apart from others. Just like in the last module, we covered getting meaning and having purpose makes you unique and different from others, right? Because everyone doesn't have the same purpose, or shouldn't have anyway, because it's unique to them, right? The same with finding meaning, and now the same with fulfillment. Whereas happiness was more general, right? But fulfillment is something unique to you. And it says, so it gives an example of maybe eating right and being healthy, exercising is something that fulfills you. Whereas your friend might think that's kind of a drag because they're not into exercising or eating right, right? So it's unique to you having that as a fulfillment. It says, so while happiness is something that everyone feels the same about, fulfillment will give you a unique sense of being and purpose. Unlike happiness, which is strictly a feeling, fulfillment is something that you attain by investing time and effort. Just like we were talking about having meaning in your life, right? And purpose. It takes something from you. It may be stressful sometime, and it takes time and patience, right? So the same with fulfillment. It says in its own way, fulfillment makes you a complete person because you're putting time and effort into it. It takes work to be fulfilled, right? It says in terms of their spans of time, happiness is fleeting, short-term sensation, while fulfillment, it says, is eternal. Maybe you never looked at it that way, right? It means it's always there with you. Whereas happiness is fleeting. It says being short-term happiness isn't realistically sustainable. But many people that you know are actually can sorry about that. It says it's can't be sustainable because how many people do you know that are happy 24/7? Probably none, right? But when you compare fulfillment with happiness, it says you may know some people who are pretty content with their lives because they have fulfillment in them. It's something worthwhile to them, the way they live their lives. They have meaning and purpose. It says when you're fulfilled, you don't have to be happy all the time, but you are content. even if you're going through a rough patch, right? Now, fulfillment, it says, gets etched in your brain, and it remains with you for a long time, a very long time, maybe a lifetime once you get that fulfillment, right? Okay. It says, so if you have some bad days, good days, doesn't matter, as long as you have fulfillment. And you always have that contentment with you, right? Something that's purposeful. It says, with happiness, you never know how long it's going to be. Because it says, you could be happy, so happy one moment, you get a phone call, you hear some bad news, and you know you're not happy anymore, right? It says, happiness is not as personal as fulfillment, because you can take it away in a matter of seconds. Whereas, like it said in the beginning, fulfillment is something eternal. It's always with you, because it's something that you accomplished, something that you worked for, right? It says, fulfillment is not affected by incidents, feelings, or people. It belongs to you. It's yours. And it says you can keep it for as long as you want. It's not like happiness. Someone can take it away from you by giving you bad news or, making you feel bad. Not so with fulfillment. It's always with you. It says, nothing and no one can steal your sense of fulfillment from you, because you accomplished it. It's something that belongs to you. It says, fulfillment also gives you meaning to success. It says, being happy with your success, that's great. It's an awesome thing. And it gives the example of winning an Oscar, right, for something that you accomplished as far as acting. And you feel great at the moment. It's like something you always wanted, if that's what you wanted, right? But then there are some for whom it's not a fulfillment. I'm sure you've heard of some actors who've turned it down. They didn't even come to the celebration, right? Because it wasn't a fulfillment for them. Okay? So if you want fulfillment, you're not going to just strive for happiness in the moment. It says, if you want fulfillment, you have to work hard. And if you want to be happy, you don't need to do that much. Okay? Even being with a favorite person can make you happy. Right? Yeah. It says, listening to a song can make you happy. And I can attest to that, right? Songs make me feel happy, especially particular songs, right? Maybe you're the same way. A donut can make you feel happy, if you're in that donut mood, right? Yeah. And it says happiness, though, can make you lazy, too. Just being with your favorite person can make you happy, but then you get distracted and you don't do what you're supposed to do, right? Because you want that happy feeling to last a while. But it says when you strive for fulfillment, you get things done. You won't get distracted. It says, so when everything is done, then you feel complete because you accomplished something. Right? It says, you'll be content knowing that you made something out of your day. And staying in your comfort zone makes you happy, but it didn't take you anywhere. Yeah. Even though you were happy, you got distracted, or you just didn't get anywhere because you didn't get anything done, but you were happy, which is okay. Right? It says, to be happy, you can take shortcuts, but you can't do that with fulfillment. No, it says, that's why you go the extra mile to get fulfillment. And it says, if you're doing something that fulfills you, you'll be more willing to try new things. And it says, you think of ways of getting better at whatever you're doing. Some people even feel fulfillment in their jobs, which is okay. Most of us maybe don't, but some of us do. We love our jobs, right? Some people do. They get fulfillment from it, whereas others don't, because maybe that's not their purpose. They're not in the right job, right? Now, this is something interesting it says about happiness. It says, happiness is a single feeling, and it compares it to a rainbow. Suppose you say happiness is only one color. Maybe it's just yellow. But then when you think of fulfillment, it's like a rainbow with different colors. because it says uh, having fulfillment is made up of passion, drive, emotion, grief, and failure. All of those things make up fulfillment. So it's like a rainbow, right? Whereas happiness is just one thing, one color. It says you have to go through all of that to get fulfilled, through all those different feelings of passion, drive, and so forth. It says, and that's what makes fulfillment special. And there's nothing wrong with looking for happiness. No, we all like to be happy. But if you want to miss all those different colors, those different things that you have to go through to get fulfillment, then isn't that much better than just having one color or one thing? I think it is. Even including failure in that fulfillment. Maybe you don't always get it, but at least you worked hard to get there. Get a part of it, right? So it says there are times when you're not exactly happy, but you are fulfilled. And that's something much more to want to accomplish. It says, for example, you may be working long hours as a doctor. And you have, all kinds of feelings in that particular day. Good ones, bad ones. You get tired. But at the end of the day, it says you feel peace at heart because you feel like you accomplished something. You work towards your purpose and you're fulfilled. So it says, for most of us, that kind of feeling is what keeps us going. It says, even when you're not happy, you feel fulfilled. And it drives you on. Because you want to do something to accomplish that fulfillment, right? And it says, you must remember, though, that happiness, yes, is something, it's an important element in our life as well. We want to be happy, and it's a good thing. But it says, however, you can only be truly happy when you have fulfillment in your life. Just like we talked about in the first module, about having meaning in our life. Going after something meaningful rather than just something to be popular. Or maybe just material things, even though there's nothing wrong with material things, right? But if that's all we're living for, then sometimes the meaning of life eludes us, right? And so does fulfillment. If we don't have fulfillment in life, then we're missing something. Now, the next section is steering clear of false purpose. And like I said, it would be interesting to find out what is a false purpose, right? Well, when I read it, it's like, yeah, very interesting. So please pay close attention, okay? It says, if you look around yourself, you see that most people follow the same dream. They all seem to have the kind of same purpose. And what is that? It says, everyone believes their purpose in life is to earn money. In addition to that, starting a family and the desire to acquire wealth. And when you look around you, to be really honest, isn't that what most people strive for? And why is that? It's because it's something that you were brought up with. It says, those are the words of your parents, your teachers, and your friends. It says they're repeated so often that it seems like these things are the sole purpose of humanity. To grow up, go to school, grow up, get married, have children, get a good job, make more money. That's what it seems like, right? Like that's all there is for humanity. Like that's the same purpose for all of us. But it says, do you ever think about what role you had in determining the purpose for yourself? Did anybody ask you, is that what you want? It says, were you ever consulted in establishing these goals? Or are they mere echoes of others telling you what your goals should be? Chances are others did the deciding and determining for you. And yes, they did. Your elders, your mentors, your coaches, and your teachers took it upon themselves to decide for you, without including you in the decision making of that process. Right? They decided for you what you should be. It says, so what you thought was a choice was nothing more than suggestions or conditioned messages, letting you believe that you were the one making the choice. At best, they were instructions that you were asked to follow to determine the course of your life. Think about it, it says, there's something that just doesn't add up, as these purposes were imposed on you by others. And that happens all the time. In some cultures, more so than others, right? Well, they pick your mate and they tell you exactly what to do, right? It's not quite that way here, but the idea is still the same. Go to school, grow up, get married, have kids, make more money, buy the house, right? But nobody asks you, is that really what you want? It says it can be very easy to believe a false purpose and that it actually is your purpose because someone put it in your head. It's something that you grew up with. It says sometimes you're convinced by others that that certain purpose is for you and that it's a true purpose for you. It says, however, in reality, it may not be so at all. Not at all, right? It says, how do you recognize that false purpose? It says the easiest way to recognize false purpose is that it's not your calling. It's something that has been imposed upon you by other people. It could be a thought, an idea, or a suggestion. But it's not your thought or idea. And that reminds me of when I went over the 4 agreements, and all of those are on my YouTube channel if you want to see them. That small little book by Ruiz, right? Where he talks about the 4 agreements. And the first one was be impeccable with your word, showing how powerful words are. He says sometimes somebody says something about you and you agree with that, what they say about you. You make that agreement. But it was somebody that put somebody, it was something that somebody put in your mind, right? But you agreed to it. But you didn't have to agree. But you chose to agree, right? Because the words are powerful. Same with this wrong purpose, a false purpose. Someone put it in your mind because everybody else is doing that same thing, and you thought, oh, that's my purpose too. When really it isn't. It wasn't your thought to begin with. But it's something you grew up with that somebody kept putting in your mind. It says, many life coaches talk about finding your purpose, but it says finding your purpose isn't related to money or career. Really, it's about finding your true self. What are you about inside? It says, this is the self that you've hidden underneath the needs of people around you. I thought that was such an interesting statement. And it's like an aha moment for me too. Because it says, the society needs you to be busy, 9-to-5 people. So you hide the carefree artist that may be inside you. You hide it underneath other people's needs. It says your parents need you to get a good degree. So you curb your desire to sing or dance for a living because you're satisfying their needs. It comes underneath yours, right? It says your family needs you to be there all the time. So you hide your desire to be whatever else you may have. It goes underneath other people's desires, which is not a good thing because then that means it's not your need, it's their need. And it's due to all these reasons that you adopt a false purpose. So don't be fooled by this purpose. It says it doesn't come from within you. It's being fed to you by others. And it says people around you can manipulate you into believing that that false purpose is your calling. But it's not. And that's why so many unhappy people are around. Or maybe so many unfulfilled people are around, right? So it says why you need to stay clear of a false purpose. It says, now that you have an idea of what a false purpose is, you need to steer clear of it. Your false purpose can destroy you. It can make you do things that you don't enjoy or find meaning in. And at some point in life, maybe 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now, you'll regret not only having gone after that purpose, but also the time you spent attaining that purpose that wasn't even yours. It was a false purpose. It wasn't your calling. It wasn't for you. Deep inside it says you lack both contentment and happiness because you followed something that wasn't for you. It says then you have an epiphany years later, right? And everything comes crashing down and you realize now that you were just like everybody else. You followed everybody else's purpose, what they were doing, but it wasn't yours. And you think to yourself, it says, how am I different from them? I'm just like them. Did I spend my youth grinding and working to be just like everybody else? Nothing is unique about you because you didn't follow your purpose. You didn't get meaning in your life. You didn't get fulfillment. It says, if you steer clear of such false purposes, only then do you find meaning in your life. So you have to listen to yourself. What's you being inside? What's it saying to you? Not what other people are saying. What are you saying to yourself? It says, don't listen to others around you. Don't listen to the guy telling you that you should be an engineer just because he knows someone who made a lot of money doing it. That's not for you. Don't listen to it, right? It says, don't listen to others around you. Your true purpose is something that you want. Sorry about that. So don't listen to the engineer that says, oh, be an engineer because you make lots of money. Don't listen to that. But it says your true purpose is something that you want. It's something that you have thought of yourself. Not that somebody told you. You don't expect to do it. You want to do it. That's a big difference, right? Big difference. It says, that's the beauty of a true person. You don't have to drag yourself to fulfill this purpose because it's not your purpose, right? Instead, if it is your purpose, the energy drives you. It makes you do it because that's what you want to do, right? And you want to do your best. So it says, when you steer clear of a false purpose, you do everything fearlessly. When you're forced into a false purpose, it's often due to fear, because you fear of displeasing someone else. The fear of your parents, or the fear of being rejected by society. So that's not going after your true purpose. That's the false purpose, when you have that fear. It says, however, when you find your true purpose, you do it with love. There's no fear of letting anyone down because you know you're doing this for yourself. It's something that you want. So now, how can you steer clear of a false purpose? It says if you want to steer clear of the false purpose, you need to listen to yourself only. Ignore what others say. Spend time with yourself and learn about yourself. It's like when we were talking the other day about take the time to develop yourself, right? Do self-improvement. It says you will find what drives you then. You care enough for yourself. You find the things that excite you. And the most important thing is you're not afraid. It says don't fear failure. Be ready to face it. Like even those dark things we were talking about, right? Your dark self. Face it. Face the fear. And then overcome it. It says, don't fear rejection, but have the guts to face it. Yeah, it takes guts to face that rejection, right? Yeah, but that's what makes you strong. That's what makes you unique and different. It says, people might tell you that you have disappointed them. Doesn't matter. If it's your purpose, your fulfillment, doesn't matter if they're disappointed. Because I'm sure others will disappoint you too, right? So it doesn't matter. Right? What matters is that you're doing your fulfillment of your purpose. Okay, so it says you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm not pursuing a false purpose? It says the best way to find this is by seeking what you're doing that makes you feel fulfilled. You feel inspired by it every day, and you find new things to love about it every day. And a false purpose will show you flaws very soon. You'll always find, criticism with it. It says to steer clear of a flawed purpose, you need to define your purpose. And if you've defined your purpose well in advance, then you don't have to regret it later. Okay? It says defining your purpose will give you a clear indication about your next move. You know what to do next. And you won't be afraid to move forward. It says what matters is you and your ultimate fulfillment. Don't let anyone tell you that you disappointed them because you didn't go into medicine or whatever it is that they wanted you to go into, right? Do whatever makes you happy. And it gives a quote here by Antoinette Foy, and she says, "The core of your true self is never lost. Let go of all the pretending." Don't pretend. Don't be the ultimate pretender, right? Lots of people pretend. You can go on social media and they're pretending. Because then when you see them in real life, they're like, oh, that's you? Is that you? Right? So it says the philosophy behind this concept of finding your true self is to let yourself in. And I thought that was so enlightening to me. Let yourself in, or open it up for your real person to come in or out, right? It says your true self will just appear in front of you. It's the ultimate way to find your true purpose. And it says, just be yourself. Do your thing. You're not everyone else around you. So don't even try to be like them. Don't. Right? It's so easy to say, find your true purpose, find your true meaning. But you got to work at it. It's not easy. Right? The easy thing is to go along with the flow. Right? To let everything happen to you. But the hard thing is to work at fulfilling your life. Find the meaning and find the purpose. Okay? So I hope that for you. It took me a while to find my purpose. And I'm much older now, right? It may take you a while to find yours. It's okay. It's all right. And you may fail at a few things. I've tried different things. Listening to other people, not looking inside me. So don't waste your time listening to other people. Do your thing, right? Okay. So next we'll go into Module 3, in the importance of defining your life purpose and how do you find that purpose and passion. We'll go into it next on Monday, okay? Take care. Thanks for listening. Bye.